Hey everyone, welcome to Character Development. My name's Sydney.
And I'm Morgan. And today we have a very special guest with us, Taylor. Hey, girl.
Hey.
Taylor is not only a friend of mine, but she is a San Jose State alum, a travel enthusiast, an entrepreneur, multifaceted, all around badass. Y'all will learn so much more in this episode because what can't she do? So, welcome, Taylor.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Of course. Well, let's dive straight in and Kiki catch up for the week. Sydney, how was your week? What's new?
It's going. Honestly, there isn't much new because I feel like we just talked and my life is not currently that exciting. I'm honestly just really trying to do a whole lot of nothing before I start a new job. I have not been into an office since before the pandemic. So I don't know how that is gonna go. Like I have no clothes. They're not all hoe clothes, but I need to go shopping. So yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I'm doing. What about you?
Let's see, since last week, nothing really that serious. Oh, I tried to watch that Who the Fuck Did I Get Married To? And I can't, don't have the attention. I have the attention of a gnat. I can't get, it's too much.
I know. I watched like 10 and I was all right. Let me just get the cliff notes. Let me just get the cliff notes because y'all didn't tell everything already. So
yeah, it was easier as it dropped.
Yeah, there's like a million. So if I was watching it in real time, like as she was dropping them, and it was like the excitement, like what's next? Okay, but like sitting there letting my phone get hot, watching her for 58 episodes.
Yeah,
it's like too much. But I gave it a try, so that was an update. You did tell me to watch it.
What about Love Is Blind? Did you?
I just watched that today.
Okay.
Okay, don't tell me. Don't tell me. I haven't started it yet. I'm trying to wait on family because they want to watch it too. But I'm about to.
Okay. That's valid. That's valid.
I'm about to leave them in the desk because I don't ever wait this long to watch.
I'm like, I want to know your thoughts. Like,
oh man, I got so many, but it's okay. It's all right. I have a lot of every season. I'm just like, where y'all find these people?
Literally. And honestly, I think half of them, I'm not think. I know half of them don't know that they're signing up for Love Is Blind. They are just signing up for a Netflix reality TV show. Like, this is what I heard. I heard that they sign up to be on a Netflix reality TV show. They get like a list of possible shows. And that's why we end up with some people who act like they're on like Too Hot to Handle or Love Island or some nonsense and are really here about to get engaged. Which would explain a lot of the characters this season.
I feel like they did in season one, like they really casted for it.
Yeah.
Because season one, people worked out like it wasn't anything crazy. Now they got people on there that's married or like that's.
I know everybody drama and I didn't even finish it.
The NDAs. Where are the NDAs? Like,
no, it's too much. I feel like all the dating shows though, like from The Bachelor to which I used to watch religiously and like now I won't even, it's just too much. To like all these Love Is Blinds and Love Islands and whatever, they're all jumping the shark. Like they're not, it's more like how salacious can we make it? How entertaining can it be? But like we're just gonna traumatize these people. We're not really gonna help them find somebody.
Actual trauma. Like actual.
Man, I got secondhand embarrassment because this guy I used to date was on one of them. And like I was like, yeah, I can't watch this no more. Because I'm like, I'm seeing him be like,
yeah, that was way too casual. Wait a second, you don't have to tell us who, but can you tell us which show?
It was Temptation Island.
Not Temptation Island. That's the most cringy one yet.
Exactly. I was literally cringing watching him on there because I'm like, I know you. You're over here full of shit.
Yes.
Wait, was he the one in the relationship or one of the tempters?
He was one of the tempters.
Oh, it's even more embarrassing.
Exactly. It was just like gross.
You dodged a bullet, obviously.
For sure. For sure. Because I'm like, you was way too old to be on here doing all this. Like, grow up.
That's one I forgot about. And I'm like, That show is really the most embarrassing of the embarrassing because you really went on here to be a homewrecker, like to try and ruin somebody's relationship.
To actually be a homewrecker on national television. That's crazy.
Yeah. It was gross.
Wow, that was like a fever dream, but like that really happened. Like they really made a whole show about testing these people's relationships that they obviously didn't want to be in to begin with.
For sure.
Can you imagine your person being like, okay, so if I want to marry you, but I'm just not really sure, so we need to go on Temptation Island.
Just embarrassing.
I'm out.
I don't even know like how do you I don't even know how I would react in the moment to someone telling me like, in order for me to be sure that I want to be with you, like I need to go be tempted on national television
by 20 different women
that I choose.
No.
What?
No, we're done. It's over, homeboy. At that point, like,
what?
You answered the question for yourself, because if you really need it that bad, you don't want to be with me.
Of course not.
It's an all around now.
Wait, that's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, do y'all think you could ever be on any, not Temptation, but like on any of those?
Yeah, for sure.
Shows?
I wouldn't be serious, but I could be on there just to play around, you know. If people want the drama and the entertainment, like, yeah, I can give y'all that.
Yes.
I could see.
But I'm not about to be on there crying. That's what I'm not doing. That's my biggest pet peeve. Why is y'all on there crying?
That's how you get the money, the brand deals, the fan loyalty.
I'm not crying. I don't no. I don't love crying. You after a day. Like, what are we talking about?
I'm talking about, I love him. I love him. Girl, it's been 3 days.
Literally 3 hours, probably.
Like, no, or she was my best friend in the house. Oh, what?
I don't know you. I don't know any of you guys.
That's how, like, the black girls, they always look so just like on those shows, because they're just like looking at the buffoonery. Like, they never, all of these, like, you know, the girls be crying and doing all the and they just be sitting there looking at them like, like, I just finished watching Love Island All-Stars. I love Love Island, but the All-Stars one just finished, and there was one black girl in there, Kaz, and the whole time she was just like, everyone was crying and coming to her because, you know, like, mammify the black girl, like, everyone come lay your
woes. Of course, we're always the mother.
Right. And she was just always like looking at everybody like, this is ridiculous.
Like, are you being fucking for real? Like,
be fucking for real. Like, are you, and all of the crazy thing though about the ones where they like come back together to hang out in like the compilation shows is like, y'all could have hung out outside of this.
No.
So if y'all weren't going to be together, you just weren't going to be together.
Yeah.
But okay, let me get into my delusion and think this is real.
I think I was the most disturbed by Too Hot to Handle, because I was just like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Like the one that, I don't know if it was the last one. I don't know how many they do, but I watched more like the British dudes and the black girl, the really, really pretty black girl.
Yeah.
I was like, what is going on here?
I'm trying to remember. I watch a lot of reality TV.
Too Hot to Handle is one of the only Netflix dating shows where, and this might be a hot take, I might be, don't cancel me, but like, all, like, okay, how do I say this in the most delicate way possible?
Don't, just go ahead.
Sydney, you want me to get in trouble?
No, because I'm sure I'll agree. I'm not gonna leave.
And Taylor, because of the comment that you just made, like, I know that you get it. The black women that they pick to be on Too Hot to Handle are always so gorgeous and put together, and like they always have their hair is ready. Like, do you remember Melinda? How her shit was like, she had a sleeping wig. She was ready, like everything was tight. You never saw the lace. It was going like, if they have braids, the braids are perfectly neat, and like they just look like they knew what they signed up for and they were ready to roll.
Yeah.
Whereas other ones,
Love Island,
meaning other shows, I don't know what they tell these girls that they're going to, because
I'm getting braids. If I'm going on any type of reality TV show where I need to look good for an extended period of time, I am getting braids.
Same. And I don't even have no hair. I'm going to show I'm getting braids because I can't get a fade while I'm on the island. So I'm getting crazy.
Press on nails.
Easy.
Do it yourself lashes and braids. Like,
yeah.
Although on Love Island, they did have one girl who has like her own like wig line. She kept all of the girls together. Whitney. She kept all the girls together for that entire season. And like, she's a queen for that. But me, I think whatever season Cass was on, she started with a wig and then just took it off like after a couple of episodes. And just
what was her name? I think that season Cass. Of Love Island was ghetto.
I think it was Cass.
What was her name? The one who was with the guy who went to Morehouse.
Wait.
Okay, because you said the season that Cass was on, CASS, the Latina girl, right?
No. I think the woman's name was Cass, the one who took the wig off. And who went to Morehouse? I'm talking about British Love Island.
Oh, okay. So then not that one. Love Island US gets ghetto, y'all. Like, so there was, okay, so on Love Island US, there's the last season, there is a girl named Cass, Latina girl, but there's some, my mom and I always call it, Nigga Island, the American one, because it's always so many black people.
That's good. Give us our time to shine.
I love that.
I know. I'm like, I'm getting canceled left and right. But anyway, it was, there was a guy from Morehouse on there. And when I say he was dogging this girl out, y'all, like, everything that you hear about Morehouse men, he was throwing it out the window. It was like really bad. Like, watch the last season of US. Like, okay. It was bad. But that was what I thought you were talking about. If you're talking about Kaz, K-A-Z,
no,
the British one, she's like,
I think it's CAS. I'll find it and I'll we'll get back to it. I will take my homework assignment of watching last season.
Dang, now I might have to watch.
Yeah, like
it's a hot mess.
I'm gonna start right after we stop talking, to be honest.
Have y'all ever watched the US one?
I've seen like
randoms. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's
Is that a show you would show the aliens if they wanted to understand American culture? Like, you know how they ask, like, if aliens came to you and they were like, I want to understand American culture, what would you point them to? Like, is that an example?
Good question.
I would have them watch nuanced. I would have them watch Love and Hip Hop.
Ooh.
That's embarrassing. Okay,
I would do Basketball Wives for sure.
Ooh.
No.
Yeah. The OG reality TV.
Then if it's OG, we doing Flavor of Love.
Ooh. Yeah, that part.
Okay.
Or I Love New York. Or
I want my eggs cracked.
I go through, do y'all go through a stage? I go through this where once a year I have to rewatch Flavor of Love. Like just to like ground me again. I'm like, okay, this was great.
This is what true American culture is about.
For sure.
Okay.
Good. No, literally, that was prime. Reality TV has not been good like that. Real Chance at Love. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Yep. Dang.
That was such good reality TV. Like, just, it was terrible, but it wasn't like the stuff that they're doing now in reality.
Is overly scripted.
Is overly scripted, and also like a lot of it is really damning to people's actual lives.
It's psychological warfare. Like, it's not even like,
it's not just like Kiki, let's have fun and like drink in the house and relax and like talk shit. It's like, I'm actually gonna ruin you. And okay, well,
because not spoiling, but I'm sure you may have seen it online where the girl thought she looked like Megan Fox.
That is the most embarrassing thing. I
all right, no comment.
Okay, so here's the thing though. Say you're in the pod, y'all, and someone's asking you to like describe you, like, what do you look like? Like, and you say something so off, like, or like someone, you ask someone like what they look, you know, what do you look like, and they tell you, and then they come out like okay, so say you're talking to this dude and he's like, oh yeah, like I look like
Trevante Rhodes. I'd be pissed.
Okay. So I look like Trevante Rhodes. And then he comes out and he looks like Michael Blackson. Like, what are you going to do?
I'm going to look at the camera the exact way.
You're breaking the fourth wall. I'm looking at
the way he looked at the camera while he was hugging her. That would be my exact reaction. Like, and here's the crazy part. She literally asked him, she was like, do you get confused with like another celebrity? He's like, yeah, all the time. She's like, yeah, me too. Megan Fox. Like, she didn't even care what he had to say. She was setting herself up to convince this man that she looked like Megan Fox.
But the thing, in her defense, she did say it's only because of my hair color and eyes.
She's a blonde.
No, she got brown. She got dark hair. That's what she kept saying. In her defense, she was like, I got blue eyes. Like, she do have features similar to Megan Fox, but she has a facial structure of Natalie Nunn. So it's just, she probably...
Natalie, ooh, Bad Girl Club. I forgot about that. That was great.
All right.
Not the Crimson Chin.
That would have been a better description, you know?
Wait. Ooh, okay.
Yeah. See, that's embarrassing. I'm not gonna be embarrassed like that on national TV. And then it's like you embarrass yourself because you set yourself up, girl. You could have just said, I have brown hair and blue eyes.
Or just not ask the question.
Yeah, I think it lost people because she was trying to act like she didn't know who Megan Fox was. Like, she diminished her to some man's wife. Oh, MGK's wife or fiance. Like, girl, come on.
America's sex symbol is you.
We all know who Megan Fox is. Come on. It's only about 3 of them we all know in life.
Like, and she is
okay.
One of them.
Her, Scarlett Johansson.
Is like, what are you talking about?
Like, yeah.
And Blake Lively, I'll die on it.
Yeah. I like Margot Robbie. I ain't gonna lie to you. Her and Scarlett Johansson.
Margot Robbie is gorgeous too. She's getting up there for me. But I'm just talking about like all around timeless. Like Blake Lively has been my girl since Gossip Girl.
Yeah,
for sure.
That has been my sis, and she has been consistent. Look after look
for sure.
after look. She is still Serena Vanderwoodson.
Yes. Okay.
She's literally
quiet as it's kept. Quiet as it's kept. So is Leighton Meester. She's giving Blair still to this day.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so is Ed. What's his name? They're very much so in.
Yeah, I was about to say the whole cast. Really,
they
ate.
All right.
All right.
I gotta refocus us though. Like, I have
to ask Taylor for her updates. We didn't even ask her for updates. Taylor,
I know she got thrown off by the Natalie Nunn comment. I'm sorry.
That was a thrower.
Yeah.
Honestly, this week I'm dedicating to like resting because I like went on 2 back-to-back trips, and so I haven't had really time to regroup from them trips. So I'm like, okay, even though I do gotta work tomorrow, but this week I was like, I'm just washing clothes that's been sitting there for quite some time from trips after trip, and like that's what I'm doing this week.
Okay.
Just relaxing.
Where'd you go though? Where were
I went to Antigua and then I went to Bahamas.
Oh, we love. Okay, y'all. So for those who don't know, Taylor is. I go on trips. Like, that's an understatement. Like, every time I roll up, she's never in town, or she's like, I'm about to go on a trip, or like we'll be out somewhere, and she's like, yeah, getting on a plane tomorrow to go. Da-da-da-da. Like, constantly traveling, and she travels a lot solo. And as a Black woman, to be traveling solo to all these places, like anywhere she wants to go, she's going. That is so inspiring. And I know we talked about travel last week and that nomadic lifestyle. So we're just going to keep it going, but like go from the lens of what is it like to plan trips solo, or like, how did you even get to the point where you're like, you know what? Fuck it. If my friends aren't going to go, I'm going to just go.
Yeah.
So, for me, I've been like flying by myself since I was 5. So I was like, an unaccompanied minor on Southwest. I was flying back and forth from San Diego with my dad to San Francisco with my mom. So I've been doing that since I was 5. So I was never scared of like doing anything by myself, because imagine a 5-year-old, on the plane by herself all the time. So I remember one of my good friends in college, like my friends going away for college is really what got me started on like traveling solo by myself. Like I'll never forget my homegirl, she was going to Xavier, and she was like, "Oh, you should come out here." And I was like, "Okay." So then that was like my first quote unquote big girl trip. I was so excited. I like flew Delta to New Orleans, and like we had a time. It was like my second time going to New Orleans, but I went when I was a kid. So like as an adult, it was like so much fun. And I was like, okay, I can do this. So then I started visiting my friends in other places. Like I have friends that went to TSU, so I was going to Texas. And I was just doing that. And I was like, okay, I'm more and more comfortable like doing things on my own. And then on my 22nd birthday, I decided I was going to take my first international trip by myself. So I went to Barcelona to see Beyonce and Jay-Z on the Run Part 2 tour. And I was like, I can do this. Like, I've never been uncomfortable being by myself. And I'm like, this is something I can just control. When you travel with other people, you have to be like very mindful of everybody. But this, I was like, it's my birthday. I want it to be all about me. And I don't want to be worried about nobody else. I'm a morning person, which a lot of people aren't. So I like to get up early. I like to do my own thing. And like, that's what got me started is that first trip to Barcelona.
Wow. Okay. I have a lot of questions actually. I've wanted, so just to give you context, my birthday's on Thanksgiving, which
cool.
sucks. Like, it was cool growing up because family, but then when you get older and you want to do stuff, like same thing. People aren't around. You can't expect people to always be around. So I've been trying to like talk myself into going on a solo trip, but like, okay, were you scared like your first time being in a different country by yourself? And then like, what did you do with your free time just like on your own?
So I wasn't like, I feel like when you grow up in a city and you go to cities, it's not as overwhelming. Me growing up in San Francisco, I felt like going to Europe, like that's mainly what I've done a lot of my solo international travel is Europe because I feel like I'm just navigating a city,
Okay.
And I feel like I never was scared. I was only scared one time on a trip just because people just sometimes you can't listen to what people say. People overwhelm you about certain locations and you're like, it's not even that bad, once you're actually there. But that's the trip that I was on with a friend, but we both were a little paranoid and then we like relaxed and we're fine. But as far as free time, I mean, I just take my safety precautions. Like, I'm not going out at 4 o'clock in the morning by myself. And if I did go out, like, it would be with, like, say I, like, made some friends or something, or, like, I knew people in a different city, then I would do that kind of stuff. But on my own, I'm not out past, like, 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because I was like, probably mostly men, some white women feel comfortable like going to a bar by themselves in another country. I think that's scary to do even in the United States, but like
For sure.
Yeah. So I was just like, yeah.
I mean, I've done it.
Okay.
I mean, it's funny because on my 21st birthday, I went to a bar by myself because it was like a weekday and I like turned 21 and like everybody was at work doing their own thing. So I was like, I'm finally legally going to, bar. I was like, let me just go out. But I was in San Diego. I was at home, so I didn't really care. I just went out. And I'll never forget, it was like OT Genesis was performing. I like watched his performance and then I went home. And it was a good night.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. But it just varies on like where I'm going. Like it's some places where I'm like, okay, like if I'm in London, I go there so often that like I'm not scared to go out by myself late at night. But if it's somewhere new and like I'm not necessarily walking distance, like if it's somewhere walking distance from my hotel, that's one thing. But if I'm having to travel and do extra stuff, then it's like, okay, it's not that serious.
Got it.
So you said that there was one place that was scary for you. I need to know the story. What happened there? Where were you going?
So me and my best friend went to Morocco. And, a lot of people talk about, how it's kind of unsafe for women and, people are aggressive. So it was like, I just had that ingrained in my mind that people were going to be like that. And so I didn't give it a fair shot at first, you know, because I'm like, it's really a culture shock because you only see the women in the morning, and then during the day you don't even see women out, like unless they're tourists, you know. So it was like really strange. I'm just like, it's so many men out here, you know. But once we were on like the third day, we was fine. We were like, oh, it's not that bad.
I've heard that about Morocco. I've had another friend tell me that they went there and that was the same. They were like kind of scared at first because a lot of things that people had told them, and then it was ended up being fine. But it was like that initial fear of the unknown one, but then also like, you know, if enough people get in your head and tell you Lord knows what, and it could be telephone, right? Like one person says one thing, then it gets
Yeah.
scarier and scarier and scarier until it's like, oh God, I'm not going to come back home.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, good to know. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, I love Morocco. Like, that is hands down, like, one trip where I didn't have a single bad meal. Like, if you plan it correctly, all that food was seasoned well. Because when you go places, you be like, I guess y'all forgot to season it. But in Morocco, they made sure they did what they did out there.
Is that how the food is in London?
It's horrible. It's horrible. It's the worst food ever. I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Dang.
It's true. But I love London. Like I said, I prior to the pandemic, I used to go to London like maybe twice a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many trips do you go on in a year on average, do you think?
I don't even know. I mean, I will say, like, if we're talking about last year, I went on a trip, like, international. Like, so I do a lot of domestic travel, too, because, you know, I did my, like, stadium tour or whatever. But, yeah, I'm, like, at least twice a month, probably twice, 3 times, depending, you know. It depends. Like, sometimes I will go somewhere every weekend or every week. And then it'll be where I'll just do, like, one big trip. But, like I said, last month I went on 2 international trips. Well, technically this month, just over tomorrow. Yeah, it just depends.
What is I told y'all, I texted her, she's like, never home.
Yeah, like
it just depends, you know.
Okay. How? Like,
how do we start?
How do you afford these trips?
Yeah, like, not to, you know, be in your pockets or anything.
Oh, no, it's fine. Like, you know what I did? It took a lot for me to do this, but I actually, a year and a half ago, I got a job with an airlines because I was like, okay, I spent all my money on traveling. We got to cut the cost some way, somehow, you know? And so I took a little part-time gig. When I'm saying part-time, I'm there like maybe once or twice a month, if that. And I have, you know, full flight benefits. So the past year and a half has made my life easier because of that, for sure. But before that, I'm like the queen of finding deals, you know? And like, I always had so many miles, so many points. And like, so I only strategically traveled. And I think, like I said, why I used to go to London all the time, because they used to have this airlines Norwegian, and it was $300 round trip to London all the time. So I'm like, if it's only costing me $300 to get to London, why wouldn't I go? That's like me going to Miami, New York.
Yeah,
that's true.
And then I don't know what happened to the airlines, but that was the plug. Okay, them flights were so cheap. Good times.
Okay, so the hack is part-time gig at an airline.
I'm literally over here
That's
like,
smart.
okay, like,
yeah.
I'm literally about to go apply.
But the real hack is to like have a friend that works for an airline. So that it's like one or the other. If you can get a job, like for me, I looked at it where it's like, I'm doing this for all of us, right? So my mom and dad, they're able to travel for free, you know. I have like one primary traveler that I can have. And then me, I could bring my friends with me. So say if us 3 wanted to go on a trip, y'all could just fly with me for free.
Don't tempt us.
Like yeah, literally, like no, literally when I went to the Bahamas, I took my homegirl with me. And we just flew to the Bahamas.
If any of my friends are watching, please. I actually might do
for
that.
The team.
Yeah. So I would suggest just seeing who you know works at an airlines, you know, and if they put you as a companion, I mean, that's the best. To me, that's the best option. For me, I'm actually pretty lucky because my best friend works for an airline, so I have double benefits, right? So I have my benefits and then I have their benefits. I mean, with my benefits, I have access to flying every airlines, right? But it'll be like an additional, like it'll be a fee, right? But since I have double, I don't pay a fee since I'm on his benefits as well with his airlines. So, and then he has more seniority. And airlines is all about seniority. So he has higher seniority. So I'm able to like pretty much, get on all the flights. And I'm not gonna lie, like last year I had to like, I always do this thing where I'm like, okay, let me be grateful for my situation. When I find myself complaining, I start doing the math, right? So I got Polaris probably like 10 times last year, you know? So imagine how much.
What is Polaris?
Oh, yeah. Polaris is a business class on United, right? So again, when I'm feeling ungrateful, I'm like, okay, Taylor, 10 flights. How much is each of them flights? Yeah. I'm laying flat on my international flights. So what are we complaining about today?
On your basically free international flight.
Exactly.
I'm literally gonna go get a job. Like
Sydney, we're applying after this. One of us is gonna get it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I told myself I was gonna start just calculating too, like, because one of my coworkers, he has 5 kids. So imagine him and his 5 kids can travel free. So he told me, and he never works. When I tell you he never worked, he never worked. I've seen him probably 2 times. And like him and his family live in Mexico. Yeah. So, and then I'm not gonna lie too, like with my airlines, working in San Francisco, we usually get the best healthcare. Nothing is coming out of my check for healthcare. So people who, that's why you see certain people who at the airlines, because all their kids, all their family is flying free, and that healthcare is next level.
I wish I had talked to you before I was like, before I accepted this new job where I'll be at a desk.
I mean, but it's all about perspective, because like, of course, some people feel they're too good to do things or like they're overqualified. But for me, I looked at it as it like, okay, I'm all about cutting costs whenever you can. And I know traveling is a priority for me. And it's like, I know my mom likes to travel. So I'm like, what can I do that's can benefit all of us, and that doesn't really take a toll on my life. And I was like, okay, let me get this little job and we good.
Yeah.
That's so smart. Take the ego out of it, because
of course,
if we're being 100% honest, you are living the life that most of the people who would be hating on you are trying to achieve. They're working their fingers to the bone to get on those flights, to go to those places, and you are strategically doing it. And then everywhere you want to go, you just go.
Yeah, for sure. After getting this job, I have a different level of ignorance, because now it's just like, all right, it's Tuesday. Let me go here, like, why not? Like, I love concerts. I love music. So, we went to Bahamas because Burna Boy was out there. So it's just like, why not? And I love Burna Boy. And I'm like, Bahamas, Burna Boy, why not?
I know that trip was a good trip. Like, yeah. I already know.
For sure.
I know that's right. Okay, so with your travel, you have developed quite an Instagram following and like give people tips and tricks and all the things. How did you always want to like make it a public thing where you make your Instagram part of it, or were you like, was it just something that came naturally? I mean, everybody can't see you head to toe on here, but go look on Taylor's Instagram because this got it going on.
I mean, in general, I feel like I'm all about putting people on. I think too, that's probably why I initially got my degree in psychology, because I wanted to help people. And I feel like so many people think what I do is like not attainable. And I feel like I'm always trying to reiterate to people like, hey, what I'm doing is really not that hard. Like, you really can do it if you prioritize it. Like me, I make traveling a priority. That's why I do it so much. If it's not a priority for you, you're not going to take it seriously. You're not going to put effort into doing it.
Yeah. So is that like advice you would give someone coming into doing this? Like, into putting more of an emphasis on travel in their life, like you have to make it a priority?
Yeah. But honestly, my advice would probably be a little terrible. I would say don't let the lack of funds stop you from living your best life.
I like that.
Because let me tell you, on the internet, people always like, oh, y'all always celebrating stuff, and y'all ain't got no money, y'all need to be doing this, blah, 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 blah. Okay. These are great years right now, okay? Y'all can wait till y'all 50 to do this, but I'm not, okay? It's all about balance, and I think that's the most important thing when it comes to like starting is like learning to balance and just giving yourself grace, You don't need to be staying in these 5-star hotels starting out. It's okay if you're on that Frontier flight with a backpack. It is okay. It's like take your ego and pride out of it and just enjoy your life,
Yeah. That ego is going to get you every time.
For sure.
Every time.
I mean, and it's all about making connections because another thing when I was in college, I used to work overnight at a Marriott, right? So I was doing so much in college, but I would get discounts on rooms, right? So my rooms was like $30, $15 during the holidays. Crazy. So I started just booking rooms other places just because it's so cheap,
Yeah.
Like my best friend, she lives in Chicago. And so anytime I go to Chicago, we staying at the JW Marriott. We just having fun just because the rooms is cheap. Why not? And it's all about, if you have friends, you network with your friends, That's how, like, especially when you're young and everybody working and grinding, it's like, utilize your connections first. And then for me, too, starting out, like I mentioned, it was like I was staying with friends. Like I was going to visit my friends in college and I was staying with them. So all I'm doing is paying for a flight. Everybody got the dining credits, I'm eating their school food, but I'm enjoying a new city, and that's it. Because the thing it used to kill me that like people wouldn't visit their friends in college. Like I understand we all broke and stuff, but it's like, I think it's so important, to visit your friends because some people are lonely. They're homesick. So all my friends who went to school out of state, they can be like, yeah, Taylor was probably the only person that came and visited us.
Oh.
Yeah. Dang. That's actually so real.
Yeah, that's so right. Because, like, everyone always says, like, you work now so you can play later. And it's like, later's not promised.
It's not. And maybe I don't want to play later. The things I'm doing at this age, I don't want to be doing later. I promise you I don't.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, let's be real.
No, but that's so valid. And also, like, I don't know. I'm annoying. I say this all the time. I think I'm going to be my baddest at like 32, but I'm almost there. And it's like, I'm not trying to be on the beach in a one piece at like 50, because that's when I can finally like prioritize it. So I like that you're like going now. I'm about to follow your Instagram. We're going to talk after this.
Yeah. No, but honestly, it's just, like I said, people don't preach balance enough. People just, they want us to just kill ourselves and they're young so we can enjoy later. But I think for me, it's like, I have so many friends who didn't make it to later. So many people around me who didn't make it to later. So it's like, I feel like for me too, I'm living for all the people that didn't get to make it to later, especially the ones who would always praise me for like, oh, you always somewhere, you always having fun. I love that for you, So it's like, that's who I do it for. Especially, I mean, of course myself too, but it's like knowing that I'm like, we gonna make it work, Taylor.
Yeah. And you're like not waiting on anybody. Like you're really just going.
Yeah. But see, that's the hard part, prior to now, like dating would be a little tough because of that, because there would be men who would be like, why you always gone? Who you with? Who you going to go see? Blah, 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 And thankfully now I'm in a situation where it's like, oh, he like, okay, we're going to go to Amsterdam in a couple weeks. Or like, literally, he know I'm obsessed with Nicki Minaj. She was like, should we go to the one in London? And I'm like, this is the type of energy I'm on, Because before it was just like, oh my God, I do not want to hear y'all whining and crying about this.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to go.
Yeah.
With or without y'all. I promise you that. And even still now, I feel like just because you're with somebody, you shouldn't, you always have to have a life outside your relationship. Yeah. Like my last 2 trips were with my homegirls. Yeah. Like I don't always have to do something with someone.
Yeah. I also feel like once you start living authentically and like doing the things that are more aligned with like who you are, that's when you start to attract people that are secure enough to like even be along for this journey with you. And that doesn't mean every trip, but like literally they just fuck with who you are as a person. Like they're excited that you're able to go do that. And when they can come, they can come.
Yeah. And just, it's all about being secure, because that was, like I said, it was an issue, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, that was in the past.
Yeah. And that's not your fault. Like,
it's definitely not.
Yeah, you shouldn't like stop living your life or dim your light so that someone else can feel secure if they're just because you're like traveling on your own and doing whatever. Like that's not your cross to bear. So
For sure. Because I've literally had men blatantly tell me like, oh, we can be together, but you ain't about to do all that traveling. It's like, so I guess we're not going to be together.
Like, what?
Like, okay.
That's
Thank
like
you.
when men see a bad bitch and then they don't want her to be a bad bitch once they have her. Like,
yeah.
You knew what this was.
No, literally. I'm like, I know you saw Taylor online in these various places. Like
what did you think?
Country, but you telling her you ain't gonna be doing that no more. But like, that's what you wanted. That's what attracted you to her.
Yeah, it's like people love to tell me that they were going to slow me down. Like, why did y'all think that? Exactly. Like, you finna sit down? Like, no.
Does that make you want to like travel more, do more? Like,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, sending my postcard from Grace Bay. Like, stop playing with me.
Literally, ew. These men, these like
men are gonna men. If they're gonna do one thing.
Yeah.
So, what would you say that people you're known for? Like, what if they're like, oh, Taylor, that's
sports and travel for sure. It's funny to me though. I think about like as a kid, because like if you were to ask somebody who knew like 10-year-old Taylor, they'd be like, oh, you know, Taylor is such a nerd. You know, she's such a tomboy. That's what I was known for. You know, I skipped a grade when I was young. I graduated high school, college early. Like, I graduated college at 19. Like, most people knew me as being a nerd. So it's actually kind of funny when I think about what I was known for as a kid versus what I'm known for now.
Wow.
Okay, smart.
I mean, you know.
Brilliant.
19 with a degree in psychology. Like,
yeah.
That's big. That's very big.
So that's something a lot of, like, if you went to school with me, you knew, but like, that's not something I'm like, you know, I brag about enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Like, you should brag about it.
For sure.
That's an accomplishment. At 19, I was living. I was in college, but I was living.
Yeah.
I was not thinking about graduation yet.
No. For sure.
Okay, so you touched a little bit on, you mentioned that you did a stadium tour, and that was like the traveling that you've done, and you're big into sports. I know that you do stadium tours. What does that mean? Tell the people what that is. Tell Sydney what that is.
Okay. So I went to all 30 of the NFL stadiums. And then the honorable mentions, I went to 2 of them in London. I went to 1 in Germany. And then they have a Hall of Fame stadium in Canton, Ohio that I went to as well. So that's the NFL part. The next year and a half will be basketball and baseball that I'll finish. Okay. So I'm pretty much half with both of those already. And then I'll finish the other half, you know, in the next year and a half. That's my goal for 30, you know. Finish all the stadiums before 30.
Because when you said you were known for travel and sports, I was like, okay, what's the sports half? Is that sports half, or is there like something additional?
Oh, and then I bet on sports. So that's like my thing.
What? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes, it's crazy because I even made like a guidebook for women if they want to learn how to sports bet. Ooh. Yeah, it's like I got a cute little ebook for women if they want to learn how to sports bet.
All right, well, we'll plug it. y'all want to learn that? I'm scared. But if y'all
But see, you lucky. You in a state where you could do it, you know?
Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's not legal everywhere, but, where you at, it is.
Do you have to know, like,
No,
sports? Okay. Because I
not at
keep
all.
seeing on, like, TikTok that people are just betting, like, on gut feelings or, like, players that they like or, like, whatever. And, yeah, I don't know. I don't know
No,
very much about
the thing
sports.
is, I tell people you don't have to know the sport. You got to know how to read. That's it. As long as you know how to read, you could bet.
Danger. To me.
I like danger. Like,
yes, Sydney likes danger.
I do.
And honestly, I realize women, we have a better look because we're not as emotionally involved as men are, you know? And I talk about that a lot with people too, where it's like, my cardinal rules is like, okay, don't bet on your team, because when people bet on a team they like, then all brain power loses,
Yes.
But I mean, it's good to bet on familiar things, that's what keeps you interested. But like, if you just know how to read, go on ESPN, look at things, stats, trends, you can figure it out.
Okay.
What got you into that? Like, how did you start doing that?
So I used to live in Vegas, right? And my friends used to send me money to bet for them, right? And I used to see, I'm like, okay, how you turn this $100 into 3,000? Like, I'm trying to figure out,
Yeah.
because I'm like, I like sports. I've always liked sports, but I'm like seeing what they're doing, and I'm like, okay, I could do this. Like, what? And so that's pretty much what got me started, is because I was helping other people make money.
Wow.
Mm. Okay, but they say like scared money don't make money, right?
Okay.
You can't be scary, Morgan. You can't be scary.
So what is, like, and I've seen you posting stuff about it and stuff, and like, it's like you really know what you're doing. Like, keeping it real for a second, what is the ratio of like winning to losing?
So for me, it varies, right? I try to do more like realistic stuff. Once you like really learn about betting, you'll realize like I know you guys heard of like the term parlay. Like, I'm sure you've seen like memes or something. Me, I don't do parlays like that, right? Because those are more so risky. But if I'm betting like for fun, like if you use this app called Prize Picks, like that's more of a fun bet. So it's like you could just be betting $5 on there if you want to, and like it doesn't matter. You could bet multiple stuff. But when I'm doing like my real gambling, I'm not missing. Like, but if I'm on like these other apps just playing around doing risky stuff, it's whatever. But when I'm like focused and doing strategic things, like I definitely win way, way, way more than I lose.
Ooh. Okay. I would assume that would be the case because you wouldn't keep doing it if you kept
Yeah.
losing as well.
Yeah. And then I also play like blackjack too. Blackjack is really my money maker. It's kind of crazy.
You're doing all different kinds of shit.
I know. Freaking, my man called me a degenerate,
It's giving spy. Like, you like blackjack, you're traveling around the.
You're like, wait, Taylor, you're cool as fuck. Like,
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy, but blackjack, I love blackjack. It's my game.
Did you learn that like family, or did you learn that while you were in Vegas?
In Vegas. Yeah, I'll never forget my first time playing blackjack. It was like dumb what I was doing, like when I think about it looking back, but it was smart at the moment. Like, so, in blackjack, I don't know why I thought I was like, rich, and I was playing $100 hands. And I had turned like $100 into 700 in 2 minutes. And I was like me, I'm like, let me be up and not quit. And I was so excited because it was my first time. Like, I had been watching like my friends play it, and I was like, okay, I know how to count. Like, I can figure this out. And then I made my little 100 to 700, and I never looked back.
whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people just have brass balls. I, on the other hand, be scared, y'all. Like,
But see, I've always been a numbers person. So me,
smart. There we go.
yeah, it's funny. I always was a math tutor, right? That was like my thing growing up. Like, literally since I was young, I've always tutored people in math. Even recently, like I tutored one of my friends who was like doing an electrician exam. Like, I'm like, oh, I still got it. You know, but numbers have always just like made sense to me.
Wow. Okay.
So if I ever want to bet, I need to bet with Taylor.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, give your girl a call first, Morgan. Like,
Sydney, you know I'm lying. I'm not betting on anything.
okay.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, I'm like, it's early days. Isn't that what they say?
The only thing I can bet on is myself. And that's it. Because Lord knows, and everybody knows, I have the luck of, and my mom was like, always like, don't say that. Like, but like, if something bad's gonna happen, it's happening to me.
I'm knocking on wood.
Don't say that.
Yeah, like, girl.
Don't say that.
Okay, knock on wood. But I have really like down to like prone to injuries, like everything, like everything's just like literally like example.
I think that might be like a tall people like.
So yeah, the world. I'm tall and I'm left-handed, so like the world is not made for me
for sure.
Yeah,
but like so example when I touched on it a little bit during our first episode, but like I was at during the holidays with family in like the countryside, and my little cousin is 6, but he drives and drives well. He has like a go-kart car, but it's fast. It's one of his little genius things. He also is fluent in Spanish and a bunch of other stuff. He's like super whatever, but whatever. I digress. So he drives, and everybody gets in his little car, and we call it Coleman Brown. He's black, the car. So Coleman, everybody gets in Coleman and they drive. I got in Coleman, and we was mobbing, probably going 40 miles an hour, zipping and zooing on the little like whatever in a tree. Boom. I am tall, so my knees are up against like this metal pole thing that's like the bar, because you know on those carts like if they roll, so then it has like the metal. Okay, my knee is slammed up against there. It hit so hard that it took a chunk out of my shin. Luckily, it was right below my knee because it probably would have dislodged my kneecap. But it was right below my knee, took a humongous chunk out. Blood was gushing down into my Uggs. It was like the worst. It's finally healed, y'all. Like the scar is gnarly and it's deep and it's like, it's not cute and it's dark. It's just like bad. But like he has driven so many people in Coleman and nobody's ever crashed. And the one time I get in Coleman, and then I had to, he's 6, so like I had to play it off like, oh, I'm fine. Like, we're cool because I don't want to scar him from driving the car.
Of course.
So my mom was like, you need to get right back in it and have him drive you again so he doesn't get discouraged. And I was like, but me, I'm traumatized.
Yeah. I'm like, the trauma though.
Like the trauma. I got back in it though. And I was holding on for dear life. Like, I'm fucking scared. But yeah, those are the kind of things like where it wouldn't happen to anybody else. Literally, my grandma's been in it. Everything, everybody would be fine. Me? Accident. So
crazy. Knock on wood for you.
Like, yeah. So that's why I'm big into speaking positive, like speaking positive things into the world, because since my mouth is the power of the tongue is powerful, and everything I speak happens to me. So I've been really intentional about like good things, positive things. Try not to speak so negative.
Speaking of positivity. Speaking of positivity, and like even the power of the tongue, just Taylor, you knowing like all the skills that you have and the things that you wanted to do with your life, is there like a big character development moment that you can remember that just like kind of changed the way that you decided to navigate life and the things that you wanted to do?
I would say one that really stands out for me is I had got my first job like working with the sport, like working in sports, right? I was like on the Super Bowl committee when it was out here in San Francisco. And I'll never forget when I realized like what being a Black woman working felt like, and especially when people view you as an attractive Black woman. That job kind of really, it had me question a lot about myself because, when you work in sports, people the first thing people assume is like, oh, are you a cheerleader or are you this? Like, it was definitely a lot for me to deal with. And especially because I'm young, you know, people are like, oh, are you an intern? Or, you know, it was a lot, you know, and I always wanted to work in sports. And so when that was like my first experience, I'm not gonna lie, like kind of discouraged me, but then it had me like realize like, hey, I always want to make sure I'm more than like what I look like, you know? Like it's so important because again, you know, I grew up a tomboy, so I wasn't really used to like the attention of like how I look at first because I, you know, so them old pictures of Taylor look a little different. And yeah, so that was like a moment where it was like, wow, this is how people view an attractive black woman who's into sports, you know? And it definitely made me a little more mindful of like how I carry myself, you know, the type of conversations I have with people and just, you know, the confidence I have within myself because that job kind of discouraged me a lot, you know, because it was just like left and right. It's like people are always questioning every little thing I'm doing. You know, and it's like, I'm more knowledgeable than all y'all combined. Stop playing in my face. Yeah. You know? Like, literally, we would have all these people coming in and they're like, I'm the only person that can name anybody that's coming in. You know, like we have like this activation area where like, you know, former players will come. And me, I know sports. So I'm like, oh, this is this person. They're like, dang, how you know? I'm like, I watch sports. I know this. Like, don't play with me, you know? And so I just making sure like, okay, make sure you just always know your step, you know, and never just solely rely on like how you look because I don't ever want to be known for that.
Yeah. Wow.
A word.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like that first job for a lot of us really just changes like like our entire life. We have no like it's literally a canon event, for better or for worse. Like obviously for you it worked out very well. And again, like that's a terrible thing to go through. So I'm sorry that you even had to deal with something like that. But like that versus where you are now and what you're doing that's insane.
And it's crazy too because I still identify that being like the best job I had, which is crazy. In the same breath, like all that unnecessary stuff going on, that was still like my favorite memory of a job. Because one, that was the Super Bowl Beyonce performed, so it was like, and it was at home, you know, so it was a great time, but the politics around it just frustrated me. But that was still one of my favorite jobs. Like they really took care of us, you know, like we were staying at the Hyatt downtown San Francisco. We had Uber. I could take Uber anywhere. Like that's when I was helping my friends out who did Uber. I'm like, look, come over here. They got 5-time surges, you know, in this area. I got free Uber. We got per diems every day. Plus they catering lunches. Like it was a great first experience, you know, because I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this corporate life, I need y'all to treat me like this. Okay.
Yeah. Period.
Literally. So, do you think that it was like one of your favorite jobs, not only because of all of the perks and stuff, but like because of the character development you had there, and also like, I guess that's where you start to learn your boundaries, like what you can and cannot do, what you will and will not do.
For sure. Because I learned to speak up for myself, for sure. Like, I'm not passive at all. Like, I'm not one of those people that let anybody talk to me crazy. I don't care what setting we're in. I don't allow disrespect from people. And I definitely had to like I had to learn a little balance, but then I had to learn like, okay, don't play in my face. Like, I don't like people sending me emails. You asking me a question that in a time it took you to write this email, you could have looked it up. Like, stop playing in my face with this nonsense.
Ooh, yep.
Like, seriously, you typing this, you could have typed this on Google.
Yeah.
Why is y'all playing with me?
Dang. That part. Some of it is like, what is it, the School of Hard Knocks? Like, they just want you to go through. And it's like, okay, we're wasting everybody's time here.
For sure.
You're trying to teach me a lesson or like have me go through whatever hoops. Like,
yeah.
Just extra. But, okay, you were talking about that you are into music. You go to a lot of music festivals. What? 3
Well, not festival. I just like going to like I love concerts. Music. Yeah, I was about to say festivals be a lot, but I love concerts though.
Okay.
Yes, concert. What 3 songs would be on your character development playlist?
So this is like a very interesting list. I wouldn't say I'm a religious person per se, but like I'm a spiritual person. So one of my favorite songs is "Give Me a Clean Heart" by Fred Hammond. Like I love that song, and it brings me back to a positive time because me and my college roommate. It's actually kind of funny to say this, but back when we was on Adderall studying for tests, um, we would be listening to this song. Like it's kind of funny because it's like, come on, but
It is kind of like, oh, we was on Adderall. We were listening to people.
You know,
relatable content though. Relatable
for
content.
sure. But I just love that song, and I feel like anytime I find myself like in kind of a dark space, I listen to that song, and it's like it just like restores my faith in everything, you know. And so I really love that song. I would say "My Life," Mary J. Blige. That's like one of my favorite songs ever. Definitely a reminder to like just keep going. And then I would say "Don't Take It Personal," Monica. And that's mainly for a lot of people around me because like I love everybody dearly. I know I'm a little flaky, you know, but like if somebody actually really needs me, I'm gonna come through. But it's like, you know, I be having so much going on, so many moving parts, so many last minute stuff. And it's like, I just want everybody around me to like understand I love y'all, but I might not always be around. But when you need me, I got you.
I love that you have a song for other people. It's like an understand me.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, look, y'all know I love y'all. But please don't take me, you know, my bad communication or not being able to come all the time. But it's like I love y'all though, you know. And the thing about it is too, is like, you know, I'm not really a partier. You know, like if I go out, it's somebody's birthday 9 times out of 10. You know, like I'm celebrating somebody, or it's like them one-off occasions. But I don't like going out. Like that's not my thing. So it's like sometimes, and then I'm not like a big drinker. So it's like trying to explain to friends, like, hey, I'm still having a good time just because I'm not drunk. You know, like, you know, don't think I don't want to be here. Like I just have that faith. Like I'll be cool. I just be scoping the scene out, but I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
Like so don't be worried about me. I'm good.
So you would say you are a low maintenance friend.
For sure.
We love a low maintenance friend.
Yes. Welcome.
You're in good company.
Sure.
Yeah. I love that.
Excuse me. Well, Taylor, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us, giving us insight, literally just a little window into everything that you've got going on. I mean, the solo travel to some very helpful hacks on how to get somewhere. Get your ass a little job, y'all. That's some coins over some free flights.
Get you a job or get you a friend.
Get you a job or get you a friend. And we will put your Instagram up here and your guidebook and everything so people can know where to find you, how to get to you, how to get all of the resources, because you are a wealth of knowledge and ready to share it, which is so
of course. Like I'm not one of those people. I think because like I move in love. Like I know everybody is on this. You gotta monetize this and do this. Like I get it. Trust me. But it's like for me, the money always gonna come. So I'm not overly thirsty about that right at this moment. Of course, I know my value, my worth, and I know what I should be doing. But like it'll come when I'm ready for it. But at this moment, like, of course, like, I don't mind giving free game to people. Like, it's not hurting me at all.
Wow. So either one needs more people like you. Maybe you wouldn't be in such a dire situation.
You know, because, like, the thing is, I see so many people on the internet being so elitist or so secretive. Like, they got something that ain't on Google, you know? Like,
yeah, the gate is kept at all times. Yeah.
I'd be like, do we not have the access to the same Google? Because y'all swear y'all doing something that, like, I can't look up.
Or just scamming people. Like, all of I know we were about to end, but now I'm on a tangent. Well, and how they're talking about all those reels, and it's like, I made $8,000 this month doing da-da-da-da-da. If you want to know how to do it too, comment, blah, 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 and I'll send you the guidebook. And I'm like, well,
just put it in your bio. Like, stop it.
Girl, it's all these, I'm a coach this and I help people do this. No, y'all don't. Because that wig is saying something else. Okay? That wig is not giving money. Like, I don't know.
Ask you if I can.
They're trying to fund their next wig.
I feel like, I'm sorry, but you know, we visual, okay? Unfortunately, if you ain't looking like money, we ain't gonna believe you.
That's actual facts, though. That's like
that is true.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. What did your? I mean, I don't know if y'all's mama said this when you were younger, but like my mom has always told me never go to a hairdresser whose hair isn't laid themselves.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Or, I knew it. Or not only just laid, but she has to have some hair.
For sure.
She don't have none, and not by choice. I mean, like if she just like
edges.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Danger.
Yeah.
You in danger, girl.
You in danger, girl.
But you know, on the flip side, some people say the ones with the most messed up hair be slant.
But they have to have the hair. It can be messed up. It could be messy because she's been working on her clients all day and didn't have time for herself. But if she doesn't have edges, I'm gone.
See me, I got an old school hairstylist. Like, look, I ain't got these problems where I gotta book and deposit. I got an OG hairstylist who do my little silk press in an hour and a half, and I'm done.
And it looks great. So
I actually did my hair myself because she doing her own thing right now. But because she just had her grandbaby was born, so she taking a little break. So I had to do it myself, which, like I said, I'm a tomboy at heart, so me doing my own hair be a lot.
Well,
but thank you.
Yeah, I can't imagine. When I had hair, I used to cut it myself, like, because it was so much hair that it didn't really matter. Like, you can just chop a little here, chop a little there. I told my barber when I left Oakland, I was like, oh, I could just learn how to cut it myself. And he was like, or you could not. And I was like, you're right.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Giving.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Taylor, for hanging out with us. This has been another episode of Character Development. We will see y'all later.
All right. Bye.